are handling the calls at this point. Thank you for your work. Quite a few phone calls from residents, that were praising your department and the services that you're providing. So on behalf of myself and the residents, thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
The last thing I forgot about this, the $7,500, Larry, that we got on the grant for
Yes.
educational things, have we come up with a plan to go to the schools to try to?
Well, Tom and I, we started talking about it again, since
you?
I got back, we talked about the opioid monies. Again, it's such a limited scope of what we're allowed to do, we're pretty much allowed to buy literature.
Yeah.
It's so specific in the funding and what they're allowing us to do, that's why we're trying. It's
I
just,
don't see us starting a recovery program. It's just.
yeah, we don't, $7,500 isn't gonna pay for a recovery program either, that's
No,
what
by no means.
But, so the only thing, and I, talked to Mr. Grassi too, they have things like this already in place, in the schools. So we've, tried to get some more literature possibly made. I just received some promotion stuff today for this specific entity, talking about opioid use, narcotics use, pills use, and that's part of what we're incorporating into the YES program that we're doing Thursday at the high school here. Unfortunately though, this opioid money, Tom and I talked about it, it's almost too specific, it's cumbersome, for us to do anything when we're small. Now, if we were able to pull our monies and get with Bezetta and Cortland and more, do something, we might be able to have a bigger.
Or even, the county health department, all those resources are already available, to Trumbull County residents. But in our scope, there's really nothing we can do with that.
I mean, even if you passed out literature.
Well, that's what we've talked about, it's just getting
Anything's better
literature,
than
just
nothing.
use it.
Right. Well, I know that, but
Then you
we
get
have that.
I'm
So
sorry.
we have that stuff, the health department gives us that stuff, we have stuff in the ambulance, and stuff to people's families and stuff like that.
What's the deadline on that, Tom?
I'd have to look, I'm not sure.
We have time?
Yeah, we still have.
Yeah, we just got another $570 on Friday from that. There's more coming, so.
You just sent that, that's the one you sent me, I think, right?
Pardon?
Didn't you just send me another one?
I don't
The
know.
award. So I believe we have like 3 more months to decide. I don't have it with me here, but.
I mean, it's one thing you hate to get back on.
Yeah, I do. Talked with both the chiefs on different occasions, and anything you come up with, you'd just be repeating on a much smaller scale. It wouldn't even be able to contend with what's already available, like the literatures and stuff like that. It's out there, everybody's already doing it. I don't know if we can take that money and give it to the county.
We can't.
Yeah.
If we can.
Can we? I thought April was saying we can't give any of that money directly back to them. I've reached out to April, I've not heard back,
I don't know who
not
April
answer that
is.
specific question. But my question was, what can we do for them to help them with that
Right.
money? That was about the only thing I could think of, working with them, so.
Yeah, from what I understand, we can sub-grant it, quote unquote, to another agency to help them with one of their programs. As long as it has impact within our community, if you're running into a specific issue already. But the attorney's been sending us some more stuff, so as it comes out, we'll.
That's already here, and I'll ask her again. That's all I have, I'm sorry to take up so much time.
How you guys do tonight?
I think they pulled through at 7-1.
Good.
Larry, I think tomorrow that distracted driving law goes into effect, does
Yes.
it not?
So we have pamphlets for that, and we are actually, EMB is putting them out tomorrow, I don't know why they waited until the day up, but, so tomorrow, the law goes into effect, however, there's a 6-month period of time where no enforcement can be taken, however, you can do warnings. However, in the event that you stop somebody for it, you can still take enforcement for anything else from that traffic stop, you just can't enforce that part of the law until October 5th. Part of that is, holding the phone to your ear is completely legal. Doing this, listening to it is not legal. Doing this is not legal, but if you have your phone up on the dashboard and you hit answer, that is legal. That's where everybody's kind of getting confused. You can hold the phone, just can't hold it out here. You can't manually enter anything else. You can use a Bluetooth. So BMV's putting it out to all new interim temporary driver's licenses when they get that, and they're sending some other brochures out. We've put it on the Facebook, we put it on our office lobby, trying to get the message out as much as we can. And that's part of Thursday when we meet with the schools here, that's part of the other literature we're handing out.
You know, I'm not an attorney, but.
He is an engineer
Well, no, I'm just being realistic. You get me here, you pull me over, my response to you is, you caught me bringing it to my ear.
Well, that's gonna be articulation,
Yeah.
and that's what we have to train our guys. I know the state's gonna do the same thing. It isn't gonna be just, oh, I just saw you. It's gonna be,
Yeah.
I'm gonna observe you, it's gonna be, I observe
Nothing
your
drives
behavior.
me more crazy than people using their phones while they're driving. I'm just saying.
If you watch them in the school zone every morning, it just drives me nuts. They sit here the whole time, spoken, it's that obvious to show.
doing their hair.
I wish
Yeah.
you'd quit telling on me.
Quit smoking. No, so that's, that
I've
goes
seen
on
the
tomorrow.
yard jobs out in front of the school, that must have been her driving. Right?
That's all I have.
I have to plead the fifth, don't I? I mean, there's a cop in the room.
Okay. All right, great.
Okay, let's go to, Tom Dempsey, fire chief.
We had fire extinguisher training at Armstrong Memory Care. We did 2 CPR classes this month. We had a fire safety and CPR class at Woodland Meadows. 2 inspections have been completed, and we installed 5 smoke detectors. Our jaws of life has been serviced, and I forgot to put on there, but our generator is out of service. I'm going to fire the company that we had out of Medina, Generac. Couldn't get hold of them for 3 days. Called Shep Electric. Shep came out the same day. Found the air filter hasn't been replaced since 2015. Yeah. They just serviced our generator in December.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're working on it. Unfortunately, it's so old that they can't get an alternator for it, which they believe is the problem. They discontinued it. He believes they have one at the shop. Says he's gonna let me know tomorrow. So that's where we're at with that. We did lose a couple of panels of that rubber roofing from up top in that middle bay. Guys were able to put it back together and seal it back up. We didn't see anything leaking or anything like that. We had 14 hours of fire training, which included brush fires and Windsor House familiarization. We did have 3 people complete the hazmat tech class. It was given by the EMA. And we had 6 hours of EMS training, which included advanced airway and quick crikes. Had 219 calls last month, 172 of those being EMS, 47 of those being fire, and 53 times we were called for consecutive alarms. That brings our total call date to 496. Southington, we went over there 20 times, 18 of those EMS, 2 fires, canceled 12 times. We did 7 transports and 3 no transports. Again, I would like to thank the road department and police department for this weekend, last weekend. We were all constant communication all weekend. I mean, it's great to have a working relationship like that. You know, last weekend we ran 27 calls in that 24-hour period with 3 structure fires. And then this weekend we ran 30 plus calls for service, and we had 1 fire. But every time we went to one of those 27 calls, we found 2 more on the way. You know, and we tried to just clear them up and get them out of there as long as there was no wires involved or anything like that. Other than that, that's all I've got.
I would also like to thank your department for their work on the storms. I think you guys performed pretty well. However, that being said, I think that situation shows our weaknesses also. Lack of barricades,
I got
lack
prices-
of lighting for barricades,
Got prices coming out.
road closures. We have to figure out what you need to be able to take care of those things. I mean, so we had to close State Road, and figured out we had no barricades with any lights on them, so I called Chief Skaggs finally, and he took a police cruiser down there and set it in the middle of the road all night long with the lights flashing on it, because that was the closest thing to a lighted barricade that we had. It did work, but probably a little bit overkill. So, we're gonna have to address some of those things, and, but once again, thank you. I know you were out personally, I was out on a couple of them with you. But you all did a great job, so make your lists of what you felt you were short in, and let's get those things addressed. And, you know, it's one of those situations that I hope we don't need to use them, but we certainly, should have some of this stuff on hand.
I put a call in today for quotes for 6 barricades, which would close 3 roads, which 2 lights on each barricade. First quote I got back was just under $1,900.
How much?
1,900, which isn't bad, but I'm waiting for 2 more quotes, and then we'll have to,
What kind of barricades were they, do you know?
the metal, type 3s, metal legs, metal sides, 8-inch reflective with a no road closed with LED lights on both sides of the frames. So that's something we need. We have old wooden ones that look like they made them. The last one I put up with Chief Dempsey, we had to screw together
They
because
probably did.
it wouldn't stand up on its own. So yeah, we have no barriers that are, should be used. They're pretty bad.
Okay. All right.
And I don't know if anyone didn't hear me before, but as of beginning of the meeting, Glendola is still closed. Ohio Edison, I talked to the supervisor just before we came in, and she was gonna be working on it. So we're at their mercy at that point.
So did I. She said she was gonna get somebody on it.
Yeah.
That's hard to
Lisa,
believe,
you talked to
that
Lisa?
down
Yeah.
live wire has been there that long.
Yeah.
You know, you stop and think about it, it's truly frightening. These utilities, Ohio Edison, cable, the internet companies, et cetera, we get what's amounted to a windstorm and crippled for a week and a half. You know, these utilities, in my belief, is they're not reinvesting in their infrastructure. They should be able to do things to prevent a big majority of this. Now, when a tree comes down on your line, I understand. But I agree with you. I don't understand why it takes 5 days to address a tree going across the road. And we can't argue with the electric company's protocol in addressing that issue. If there's lines down, they're not gonna do anything until their people come, cut that tree up and remove it so they can address the lines. On my street, I know exactly what the problem was. There was a tree on the line. It didn't cause the outage. One of the relays tripped. You could see it popped out and hanging there. And I watched them do it numerous times. When they get to Fairlane Drive, population 15, they take their extension pole and just push that thing back up into and it comes right back on. And that's all it takes. But they wouldn't do that until that tree was cut off that line. And I understand that, but, you know, it doesn't take much to cripple the area, you know, and,
The crazy part of me is that when they hire Dave here, Asplund, or whoever, when Edison does, to come down and clear these trees out of the way of these wires, and they indeed butcher these trees. And everyone complains that they destroyed the tree, but, you And when they were doing that, you didn't have these kind of outages when the wind blew, because they had cut so much of the tree away that if the tree came down, it certainly didn't affect much.
And I truly believe a lot of the damage is caused by a variable, and that is the elm disease that we had.
A lot of
and
dead
the
trees.
ash borers, you know, we have so many trees that are just dead and rotting.
Yep.
And that's what it takes for them to come down is a wind.
How many good trees did you guys see down? I mean, trees that shouldn't have come down.
Look at your front yard.
Pine tree, I mean,
Right.
big pine trees are always dangerous. They're shallow root and they're weak.
Then unrooted, snap three.
Snap it, yeah, well, they're,
Yeah, they're.
I mean, they're soft, so you're gonna expect that, so
Yep.
Other than pines,
pine trees were the majority of the problems.
well, yeah, I mean, what I'm saying is I didn't see any good trees that were across the roadway or anything like that. Most everything I saw was either dead or pine tree.
Should have been addressed 3 years ago.
How was that tree state?
Let's hope we don't see any more winds like that.
Till Wednesday.
So
There
when-
can't be much left to come down if we do get more winds, right? Most of it's gotta be on the ground already.
He said that before Saturday. He said that before Saturday, it can't be too many coming down.
Yeah.
We just had one, right? Well,
Yeah, and I might add, if you are running a generator, do not run it inside of your garage, inside of your house. That is not a good idea.
What are you giggling about?
That is a
Carbon
recipe.
monoxide detector.
Exactly. Yes.
Was it your department or Warren Township? One of them, a guy ran a generator in the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
That caused 5 other CO poisonings
Yes.
within the house, because he didn't have a CO detector.
Yes.
So.
Was that here or Warren
Braceville.
Township?
Yeah.
Braceville.
Yeah.
Should take a test before you're allowed to purchase it.
Mhm.
All right, let's keep moving.
Okay, Jennifer. Thank you, Tom.
The month of March, we had 7 permits issued. That takes us to a total of 9 for the year. Since January and February, we were pretty low. I do not have a copy for you at the office. I was grabbing it myself, sorry. The estimated value was around $350,000. The fees were $2,570. That brings us to a total for the year, $2,810. The permits were 1 for a new house, 2 fence, and 4 shed and garages being built. We did filter 46 calls this month. Just general questions, permit questions, things like that. I've had 6 complaints written, 2 are repeats, repeat people, and letters have been sent for all 6. So we'll continue to work on that. And then we have been working with the police department again, trying to get a new list of houses that need taken care of and things happening in the area. So we'll continue to work on that. And I will continue my education as well. It's been kind of sporadic still, so I'm still continuing that part of it as well. So, I don't have much. So that's all I have.
I know you're stepping into this, but, and I don't know, swimming pools that are not maintained. So you have a hole in the ground, pool hasn't been maintained since 2014. You can imagine, complaints are coming again this year, we had some last year. And as we talked about mosquito, is there anything in zoning that says that pool has to be maintained, has to be treated?
It does state it has to be maintained.
It does say it has to be maintained?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna get you an address for that, it's down off of Verona.
Okay.
One too.
Huh?
I got one too in Fairlight.
What's that?
I got one too on Fairlight. A pool that's just
I bet it's the same one.
stagnant.
That is,
No, it's not in ground now. This is above ground.
so we This, I don't know if this is actually on bond or if it's on Verona, but it's causing quite a bit of problem, so I'll get you an address and stuff. Also, this gentleman seems to have extended his downspouts into sump pump discharge lines. Sean, pay attention. And his sump pump discharge lines down and is pumping all of his wastewater off on the neighbor. I don't know where we stand on that, if it's the lay of the land. I still don't think you can pump it over on him.
No,
So-
you can't, but it would be between the two, we wouldn't be able to have anything to do with it.
Do
Unless
we-
it was in the right of way, and,
I don't know,
yeah.
but we're gonna have to go down there at some point.
Where was
and
it at?
I'm gonna get you an address.
Verona or Fairland?
Now, he's got one on Fairlane.
No.
I think this is gonna be on Verona, but it might be on Bond. It's right there on the corner area.
Oh,
It might be on Township too, I'm not sure which way it is. You live down there.
No, man.
There's the house. There's what's coming off of his downspout to sump pump over on the neighbor.
yeah, that'd be a civil matter between the neighbors, I mean, unless we do something about it.
You know that house? That's, is that
It's
on
on the
Bond?
corner of Verona and Bond.
Verona and Bond is what I thought.
North, south,
You come down, you come on to Bond from
Subway.
between, from Subway, you turn left.
First on the right.
and that-
First on the right?
That corner lot.
on the right corner,
Yeah.
okay.
She just bought that house.
The 6 letters you sent out, can you state where those went? You,
Well, I don't have the exact addresses. There were, one on Schaefer Road, it was for a shipping container. We had, 2 on Sarah for junk cars, 1 on Glendola for trash. Elite Plumbing on North Park, again, that was one of the repeats. And then, Cleveland.
Cleveland Street? Where out on Cleveland Street?
The 256, again, it's already on the list as well, but it was another complaint, so.
Okay, Rhonda had some, are you aware of those ones?
I'm trying to get all of those back in order, yes. There's a few of them.
What are the
There is a few
procedures,
there.
once somebody files a complaint, you go out and investigate, find a problem, send a letter, what's the process?
We have to follow up, I mean, obviously, we just can't say, here you go. So at the next step, then we give another warning, and then we go onward. We go
You guys put that
legally.
right
in the
Legally,
onward
legally,
mean?
you go legally after that.
Okay, so the township then would start proceedings against the property owners.
That's right.
Are we very close on that with the 2 that we have on Mahoney Avenue?
Sir, I'm gonna let
I don't
you jump
have
in
double
here
check.
as soon as she finishes. Right now, she's the intern,
I understand.
and
And I have
some of the
double check
questions
that.
that you have.
That's, I just wanted to see if
She's not
what you
gonna-
had done were these same 2, because I know these have been festering for several months.
For a long time. Now, the one guy's going open burning. He's trying to burn a big tree.
I don't
He's
know.
got a huge stump.
Mahoney.
Pardon?
I don't have anything on Mahoney.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get you in here, sir, real quick.
I have addresses on both of those too,
Okay.
I'll get to you.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
I know letters were sent on those because I know who sent the letters. So,
Anything else for, Jennifer? Okay, I've got, see, that pretty much takes us to public comment.
well,
Before
I
we-
do have a little bit more.
I'm sorry.
I do have a little bit more for zoning.
Oh, go ahead.
So,
Sorry, I didn't.
we also have a lot of signs that are popping again. Like to see them removed.
Yep.
The ones that are attached to poles, if you can't get them, take Sean down with you. Have him get those signs off those poles down by McDonald's mainly, Folsom and Mahoning. I see a bunch of roofing signs popped up over the last couple days, and you need to be vigilant on those and keep them down, because it's a new, definitely a new advertising tactic that we gotta keep in check. I know we sent Rhonda out a month or two ago, when she pulled out 76 signs or something crazy. So, in your
Got it.
time, see if we can get those addressed again. There's a bunch down at, State and Champion Street, the old Champion Chicken too, down that way, and,
Can I just send one of my guys with her?
yes,
Just
absolutely.
be done with it.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Do
Just
that.
make sure that she, as the acting zoning inspector, is with you, because
Right.
it's her authority that's pulling those signs.
Right, yes.
We can't have police do it,
That's-
can't have road department do it, but you can work with her. If she orders that sign out, your guy can pull the sign.
That's why I thought if I could just send a guy, go get them all taken care of, she could drive,
As
pull it
long
out.
as she, yeah,
Yes.
as long as she's there and says that sign goes, he can jump out and grab it.
Got it.
Okay?
That's what we'll do.
All right, that's it. I got that now.
Okay, I do have something that has to do with the insurance. The insurance, if you guys don't mind, I'll handle that. I got a call from Rob Green here this evening. He was supposed